Okay, quick video for myself, Harvey Goldman. No cuts, no edits, no filters, and no hair. And so for today's video, I want to jump into a very quick one about the things that you can do to regain control of your life. Now, if your life doesn't feel like it's yours anymore, and I'm sure that applies to many of us out there, it's probably because it isn't. Work owns your time, bills own all of your money, and fear ultimately owns your decisions. So, what am I on about? Well, regaining control doesn't mean quitting your job and going off grid and growing your armpit hair out and eating hummus. It really doesn't. It means doing things that recenter your power. And you may have to do this one uncomfortable choice at a time, but that's the reality. That's how you get control of your life back. So here's what I've done. I've hit rock bottom before, and this is what I know actually works. And I have carried a few of these over into my current life, and they're still serving me now. So stick around, see if any of these can help you. So, the first point, I guess, is to cut down on commitments that don't serve you. So, you need to be a little bit selfish. That's going to be hard for some people, but it's a hard reality that you need to accept. You're going to need to stop saying yes to things that don't move the needle forwards in your favor. Busyness equals control, but it's all just noise. If something's not going to immediately benefit you or make you money or benefit you intrinsically in some other way, simply don't do it for the time being. Be a bit selfish. Point number two is that you need to turn off the noise, quite literally. Things like social media, 24/7 news outlets, WhatsApp groups, all that other cobblers. It's all passive stress. It's all just there to keep feeding you anxiety, which you'll then feed off, and it keeps you debilitated. So you need to detox from all of this. Try it for 3 days. If that goes well, try it for 7. Literally, it rewires your head. Put your phone down, don't pick it up for a few days. Point number three is that you should start every morning with something completely selfish for you, selfish and maybe indulgent. So, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's writing a journal, whether it's just thinking time, thinking about a new side hustle, or building something, building towards freedom. Do something for you that benefits you. Again, be selfish. If the world owns your mornings, eventually it will own your entire life. So you need to claw your time back 1 hour at a time. Start with an hour at the beginning of the day when you wake up. It's probably your most productive hour, to be fair. Point number four is that you should own something that generates income. Now, whether that's a property and you're renting it out, whether it's a blog that you've monetized, or it's a side hustle that brings in money here and there, a product, or whatever it might be, anything, earn something from it. Ownership equals leverage, and that leverage eventually equals your freedom. And I guess point number five is to reconnect with a version of you that existed before the grind. You weren't always like this. None of us were. What did you enjoy before the 9 to 5 grind absolutely crushed it and stifled your want for anything else? Whatever it was, reclaim it, because that's where your energy lives, and where ultimately it dissipates. So the cost of fitting in is often, I guess it's often losing yourself, whether it's losing yourself to work or losing yourself to systems or others or whatever it might be. Take it back. Take it back one hard decision at a time. Now, to put a bit of a spin on this, I was working prior to my current 9 to 5 job. I was working in a job that was about 45 hours a week. Now, on top of that, there was expected overtime, and that was basically because the employers were far too cheap to employ anybody to, be retrained to do those hours. So they basically did expected overtime. However, the overtime wasn't paid as overtime. It was just paid as your normal hourly rate. So really, there was no massive incentive to do that. Not for me. As I've said before, I'm money motivated. I don't want to be in a job that expects the moon on a stick. I don't want to be in a job working for an employer that's just going to basically try and grind me into the ground to serve their own ends. And that applies to most employers out there, unfortunately. So I took a stand. I did create a side hustle for myself. Now that side hustle no longer runs. I blew it off, but it created me enough income to be able to quit that job and then float through for about 3 or 4 months until I found my current 9 to 5. Now, as much as I hate 9 to 5, and I really do hate 9 to 5, the reason that I jumped out of one and then into another, basically, was because of mortgage. And the mortgage kept me trapped. The mortgage is still, to an extent, keeping me trapped. Now, once I'm done with this mortgage or this property, whichever comes first, and it's likely that it will be this property when I decide to move, which will be in the next, I think, 2 years and 4 months ish. That's me getting my freedom back. I've basically sold the one thing that's keeping me trapped here. Children aren't keeping me trapped here. Yes, I've got kids, but they're grown up ish. They're standing on their own 2 feet. They've got their own jobs. They still tap me up for cash, obviously, but that I guess is to be expected. But short of that, there's nothing tying me here. It is literally the property that I partly own or mostly own that's tying me into this job. And once that's paid off or it's gone altogether, I no longer need that job. I'm happy to float through on my side hustle income, which at this point is about 60 to 70% of my PAYE, even after taxes are considered. And that does, the side hustles actually do push me up into a higher tax bracket as well, which is a whole other level of nightmare when it comes to working out your finances. But once that's done, I am going to quit that 9 to 5 job. I don't need it. I don't want it. I think most of us are in positions where we do 9 to 5 jobs because we've got bills, we've got council tax and mortgages and whatever else. And we're forced into positions whereby our time is not our own. We're basically selling our time to the highest bidder. And it is loss of control. So, what are your thoughts on this? What have you done to regain control back of your life? Was it maybe ending a relationship or perhaps starting a new one? Was it quitting a job or indeed starting a new one? Or have you simply decided to shun everything and live off grid, grow your armpit hair out and eat some hummus? Let me know. I'm really keen to find out all sides on this. I know that obviously what works for me may or may not work for you. And I fully appreciate that we've all got different experiences. So I'm really keen, as always, to hear opinion. Drop it in the comments, let me know. So YouTube is going to put another video probably about there. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz, and there will likely be another video tomorrow. Goldman, peace out.